Hello, Phil DeFranco Movie Club, man. How you doing? And let's see here. I've been watching Phil DeFranco Movie Club, and I've been watching SourceFed Movie Club, and this is the first time either one of you have chosen a horror movie, and thank you. Thank you so much. I love horror movies. I really do. But you have to admit, though, this isn't just any horror movie. This is a horror movie written by Joss Whedon. Oh, yeah. Yeah, even the nerds got it. Even if you don't like horror movies, you've got to appreciate this horror movie for what it is. It is, I remember saying it, like when I walked out of the when I saw this opening day, and I remember saying it when I walked out of the theater that, I love watching the master at work. I love watching a good writer put very good writing up on the silver screen. Kind of the same thing I felt when I saw Serenity. So, The Cabin in the Woods. Directed by Drew Goddard, written by Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon. And really, there's the stars of the film right there. Not so much the actors, but the creators of this film, the creators of a horror film that really kind of blows all the other horror films out of the water. Because, oh man, there's so many things to like about this film. I'll just start with the fact that it starts like any other horror film, doesn't it? I mean, it starts with the guys in the lab coats, behind the scenes. It starts with the puppet masters and seeing that they're showing you that they're just ordinary people too. But why are they orchestrating this thing where ordinary people have to get killed, where young people have to die? And they even orchestrate along the lines of the average cliche of every average horror movie. I love that about these characters, that the original 5 characters in the cabin are your standard horror movie cliches. You almost want to sit through it saying, oh boy, it's another horror movie cliche. It's the whore, the brain, the athlete, the fool, and the virgin all over again. You can just look at the cliches and say, wow, yeah, it's another cliche, until it gets twisted by Joss Whedon. You gotta love that about this movie, is that it's the standard 5 cliches, except just twisted enough that it has a whole new look at the cliches, a whole new idea behind why these 5 people, why this cabin, why are they being, hunted by monsters, why do they have to be killed, and then the idea behind it that the human race is dependent on sacrifice. I love that about this film, is that this film points out very poignantly, and you don't get poignancy in a horror movie very often, but it points out very poignantly that if the human race requires human sacrifice to survive, does the human race deserve to survive? Does it deserve to just keep on existing? Which is what makes the horror, which is what makes the ending a little bit more satisfying when you think about it. In that, plenty of horror movies deal with the end of the world. Let's see, plenty of horror movies like Rosemary's Baby is a classic, gives birth to the child of Satan, therefore creates the Antichrist, therefore creates the end of the world, Plenty of horror movies deal with themes like that. One of my favorites, In the Mouth of Madness, is also about the end of the world. So, the end of the world gets thrown around in horror movies a lot, and that's what I love about horror movies, is that it goes into territory that other movies can't go into, And yet, this movie just kind of points it out that maybe there's a point to the end of the world. Maybe there is a notion that that we're not struggling to improve the human race, but we're just struggling to keep it going, Because one of the best lines in the film is in the beginning, when the fool says, the world is falling apart. The world is already falling out of control. We're just too chicken shit to let it happen. It's all going down. We're just too chicken shit to let it go down. And that is the same wisdom that the Virgin reflects upon at the end when she says, you know what, yeah, let's just not get sacrificed. Let's just let it happen. And I have to say, the one disappointment I have about this film, and it's a minor disappointment, because the ending was still very satisfying, is that I wanted to see the ancients, when all you see is a giant hand jump out and smash the world, and and that's all you see of the ancients, but I wanted to see the ancients. I wanted to see more of the end of the world happen. And so, oh well, that was left out. But you do realize that the ancients do rise. The world is going to be completely reshaped. I love the fact that, because I read this online somewhere, that in one of the early screenings, audience screenings, or in one of the premieres, when the director got to do Q&A after the movie, someone asked director Drew Goddard, is there going to be a sequel? And his answer was, did you see the movie? You do know how it ends, right? End of the world and all. No, there's no sequel to the end of the world. It's just the end. Okay, it's and that's okay. Really, not every movie has to be repeated sequels like the Friday the 13th franchise or the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise or the friggin' Paranormal Activity franchise. You don't just have to be repeating a formula. One of the best things about horror movies is that one horror movie can stand on its own as the perfect, crushing, ending, horrific death of the human race. Alright? Which is not to say that it's a good thing to watch the human race get destroyed. No. But it can make for good art. It can make for entertaining storytelling that, you take something tragic and horrific and you still make it fun to watch. And that's the other end of Joss Whedon's talent, wit, and skill, is that he still makes the movie fun to watch. Even though it's all the classic horror movie trends and all the classic horror movie cliches, he turns it in just the right way to make it still lots and lots of fun to watch. So, I can't say enough about this movie. I recommend this to anyone. Even if you don't like horror movies, I recommend this movie to you. It is still worth a good watch. It is a lot of fun to watch. And it's a lot of fun to see all those cliches twisted in a new and fun way. And with a good, satisfying ending for a horror film. So, Phil DeFranco Movie Club, thank you so much for choosing one of my favorite movies. And keep on choosing great movies. Please, keep on choosing great movies. And I'll see you next time on Phil DeFranco Movie Club.